Welcome to Punch Dialogue. We got a special guest today, Jesi. He's a dance master and choreographer, killing it in the game right now. But before we get to him, shout out to our sponsor, Dunstan Styles. You'll notice that I'm wearing something extra fly. So instead of wearing a brand that doesn't care about you or that you don't really care about, why not wear something that's meaningful and that represents something to you? Like even for me, I was born in a multicultural place. And growing up, when you're trying to fit in with all these different cultures, it's easy to forget your identity. It's easy to try to fit in with other people and forget who you are. But, through the process of basement reels and these talks that we're having, I've learned that you could do whatever you put your mind to. You don't have to let your identity go. You could wear it proud. And even the guest that we're bringing on today, Jesi, he's killing it in Tamil dance, Tamil choreography. Even the founder of Dunstan Styles, he came to Canada at the age of 14, didn't know a word of English, and now he's a team lead, he's an entrepreneur. So if he can do it, so can you. If I could do this, so can you. So check them out, dunstanstyles.com, and see what deals they got. And let's get to today's guests. All right, man. Welcome to the show, Jesi.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Man, I was looking forward to this for a long time because we go back.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the last couple of years, okay, for those of you that don't know who Jesi is, he's a dancer, dance master, choreographer. In the last couple of years, I feel like you've been very busy, man. You've been popping.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work, definitely. Yeah, just
Yeah.
been moving, yeah.
Yeah, like just to name a few. Like, let me riff off what you've done. Like, Canada's Got Talent finalist with Shadow Entertainment. You toured with Anirudh.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And even more recently, with our good friend Sai Siva,
Yeah.
you dropped a music video where you're the choreographer.
Yeah, Amama.
Yeah, even low key at my cousin's wedding, Sarah, you were the choreographer for that.
Yeah,
Dope
yeah.
choreo, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. No, I've had
Cousins
that,
and all
yeah.
had a good time dancing to that. So you do a
Yeah,
lot,
That
bro.
was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know even where to start, man. Like, how did you get into dance and all this?
Dancing, like a lot of people, like we got into it just because our friends were doing it, right? Like they're like Tamil Carnival back in like 2008, 2009. Those were like the first times I ever performed. It was like on a stage, and that was the first time I ever danced too. I got my friends like me, Harry, Jisot, and my friend Tarzan. Like we like us four. We call ourselves C4 because you see four of us, but it's also like a bomb, So
Oh,
like
shit.
we're explosive.
I like
It was
names
so-
with multiple levels.
Yeah, it was so stupid, But it was. I think my very very first performance was actually for Pungu Tamil. That thing that used to happen for Tamilulam. It was just like a general like kind of like I think it was a yearly thing. I don't think it happens anymore. But I did a dance performance, and I used to be a part of like a Tamilulam, like a band. I played the violin and stuff on
Oh.
it. So through that, they were like, "Oh, we're looking for dancers," and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And funnily enough, the guy that was running my band, his son was like a dancer. He was like a really well-known dancer in Mississauga called Janojan.
Okay.
So he became my first mentor. He taught me for that performance. Me and my three friends got really into it. Like, yo, let's make this dance crew. Let's go like do like Tamil Carnival, whatever. But then we were lost because we don't know how to dance. Jisot and Harry, they had like some experience, but we're still very beginner compared to anyone that has experience.
And how old were you around this time?
I was just finishing up high school, so like grade 11,
okay.
grade 12 is like when I like started. Which I talked to that specifically to like younger generation dancers all the time because they're starting so young, which is
Yeah, high school's pretty late to like get
Yeah.
to the level you're at right now. To think that you started in late
Yo,
high school, that's
yeah, no,
pretty crazy growth.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a bit because I had to do some serious catching up.
Yeah.
But we started totally just for fun, right? But then we like immediately got into this problem where it's like after two performances, we're like, yo, how do we like level ourselves up? Like, what do we do? We're just dancing, right? Like we're not really doing anything aside from like just like oh, let's try this, let's try that, right? And then that's when I remember Janojan, the guy that taught us our first initial dance performance, and we started collaborating with him. He had a dance crew called Envy Dance Crew. It stood for Narcotic Vibes. I love the name. It's so sick, And then we ended up joining his dance crew, and then that's when I would say like I had my first like actual like mentor to like learn from. Janojan, even to this day, is such a sick dancer. So I did it with my friends. We're like, this is fun. And then I got the inspiration, like, yo, that guy is sick. Like, I gotta be like this guy. I gotta be like him.
Like
right?
Janojan.
Yeah, like Janojan. So like
okay.
we started dancing with Envy. So C4 kind of like dissipated after that. We all like joined Envy. And then my first proper performance was at Kalail, the university competition. But we did like the opening. So 2010 Kalail Envy Dance Crew. It was like crazy because we were all out of high school except for Janojan. He was first year at Brock, but Brock University didn't have a Tamil dance team, right? So McMaster, Marauders, I think they're called back in the day, and like Waterloo Warriors, York Huskies, UFT Phoenix. There's like so many teams there, like, and they're just like, energy was crazy. Okay, so being from Saga too, I wasn't really like around a lot of Tamil people, and then we went in to do the opening, and we were just surrounded by like, it was so rowdy back then too, right? Like the energy was insane, just insane. So I saw that, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to be here. Like this whole like dance team atmosphere, this whole
So
like,
this is at the Kaleo competition.
yeah,
The
and
dance-
I wasn't even university yet, right? So I just saw it. I was still in high school, and I was like, this is crazy, right? Like everyone was like cheering as if this was like the NBA finals.
I know.
You know, like it was like the energy, even to this day, like even when I finally finished up, and funny enough, we both competed at Autumn. So
Yeah,
I
we
think you
did.
know what I'm talking about when I say like the level of excitement was still good, but it was nothing compared to back
Yeah,
then.
I remember when I was in high school, I saw those Kaleo videos, and I was in high school too. I'm like, this is crazy. People are getting this excited for dance. Like,
Yo, 40,
I want to be a part of
40
this.
people teams, bro. Like the
Yeah.
cap was different back then, and the bar was lower. So no one really felt like, and we could talk about this too later, but no one really felt like, oh, I can't dance, or I'm not good enough, so I shouldn't go join these dance teams.
Okay.
There wasn't really a thought like that.
That's good. So
Everyone
anyone
was
can
just
come in,
doing-
you'll get taught, you'll learn.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
more the team experience, right? It's the vibe. It's representing your school and being Tamil too.
Bro, I was just about to say, you got this whole like team thing. Everyone leaned into that, right?
Yeah.
So I saw that, and I was like, yo, I want to be a part of this. And what I understood was like, you got to be like to be like recognized, you got to be really good at it, right? So like, yeah, I danced with Janojan a bit more, but then when we started, like when I eventually went to York University is when I started dancing with like the Huskies.
Yeah, you're a
And
Huskies. Okay.
that completely just changed my trajectory of like what it means to be a competitive, like, and I consider dance a sport, right? Like I totally,
I would see that. Yeah.
yeah,
it
like
is.
me and my co-director of my dance team, Vegan, we talk about this often. You know Vegan, he dances in the Water Warriors as well.
That's without them. Yeah.
Yeah, so we talk about this often, and we tell people like, yo, like you're an athlete. You're not just a dancer. You know, like treat yourself and move like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really felt that first feeling when I joined like the York Huskies, you know?
Yeah.
Like these guys, they carried themselves in such like a lethal way. Like they almost had like a rep for being like, yo, like everyone hates the Huskies, right? And
I mean, okay, everyone hated the Huskies because they were good.
Yeah.
Even the Warriors were like, yo, the Huskies,
yeah,
we
but
gotta beat them.
I'm not gonna lie, they had a little bit of like this whole like demeanor, like yeah, right, yeah, we're the shit.
Yeah,
And
that's swag.
And like for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm like oh I got into dances because of these different levels. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I love dance, like I'm gonna try. I first it was just because of my friends.
Yeah,
Then secondly is because I got inspired by like one individual. And then I saw like the scene and like what kind of like atmosphere these teams bring and everything. And then like, you know, like it just kept going, right? Like I got really into making choreography. Like I would end up winning like competitions like Autumn and like even like Dalam later on. And I started really dabbling into like the creation process. I really, really loved choreography, which I always had this specific love for it. When I would learn really good sets, I would be obsessed with doing the set over and over again by myself. Like if I learned a really good, like, oh, this just feels so good to do. Like I would just do it over and over and over again. And then that turned into like, I want to be able to create something like someone else would do over and over and over just because they're like this. Like, and I see people still do this like today to cut sets that they like. Like if I played a certain song, that me and my like students or my friends, like we like, for example, like we, one of my friends, Mergonk, he's such a
Yeah, I know him. He's a big name in dance.
ridiculous choreographer, and like some of his sets are so addicting to do. Like there's, I don't know like how to explain it. It's just so satisfying, something about executing it. And if I play a song that he's made a set to, like, and me or KJ or someone, like, we just know the set, we'll just like automatically, or if we hear it, we'll just run in front of the mirror and just start doing it for fun.
Yeah.
Because it's just so satisfying to execute and do. So I felt that, and then I wanted to create it so I could like have other people feel that for
And
sure.
I've seen that. Like we were at the launch party for Sai Siva's video, just like last week, right?
Yeah.
And I saw like you choreographed that obviously, but all the dancers that were part of it, like no matter when that song plays, all the dancers just want to dance to it.
Yeah.
To your choreo. And like even when like you're not telling anyone to do it, they're just like they want to get into it and do the moves, even though they've probably done it like thousands of times.
Yeah,
There's
no,
that love for the choreo and the love for the dance
it's a good
that you
feeling.
created.
Yeah.
So
It's a good feeling, man. That choreo was yeah. I was the lead choreographer for that project. Me and my girlfriend Artika was actually one of the choreographers, and we had Poochie, one of my students. She was our assistant. But yeah, no, we created something that I think that people are just gonna be able to like just. It doesn't matter if you're like a beginner dancer or like experienced dancer, you can still get something out of doing that combo.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like you're saying, it made me very satisfied to see like a big group of you guys doing it. It was a wide range of like skills in that room, right?
It
But
was.
we just like, oh, let's just do this, right?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, no, that alone gives me a lot of satisfaction.
That's
Man.
sick. Okay, so let me ask you this: you did, I riffed at the top. Canada's Got Talent. You
Yeah.
toured with Anirudh. We'll get to both of those. You did this Sai Siva song. Like, what's been your biggest highlight as a choreographer so far in your career? The
So
one moment where you
far-
could be like, "Damn, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life."
MIA. Man.
MIA,
I haven't
okay.
posted about it yet, but
Okay.
I recently got the opportunity to choreograph and perform for her and with her at the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado. It was,
That is insane.
bro. It was the
So
the
what was it like?
venue.
So
The
wait.
venue itself was just.
Okay, so back up a couple steps. How did you
Yeah.
get this? What?
That
How
was
did she
because
reach
of
out to you?
it's because of Naz 47 actually. Like she reached out to
okay.
me. She
Shout out to
actually,
Naz.
she's so sick.
She's killing it.
She reached out to me because she pitched it to MIA, kind of like, why don't like because MIA is getting back into more live performances now, and she was like, why don't we amplify this, with some like Tamil dancers. I know some Toronto like talent, and she reached out to a few of us, and we had like the amazing opportunity to go down there and perform with her and. The type of artist MIA is, and like I've worked with a lot of different type of artists in different kinds of industries, right? And she's just so collaborative. She's so like open-minded, and she's so like, and it's one of my favorite experiences because she's such a legend, right? Like we
course,
grew
yeah.
up listening to Paper Planes and stuff like
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
So like, I kind of like didn't even know what to expect. So we just went there to just dance. And I ended up choreographing to one of her sets. And I choreographed Kuttu. So like it was even more special, like
Yeah.
it was sick. She was so like, yo, let me see what you guys got. She's like that kind of like, like artist, which is so cool, and then like, oh, let me see what we could work in here, work in there. And
Were you teaching her your choreography?
she is the type of person that like likes to be her own performer, I would say.
Right, I got it.
But she totally just molds and melds into whatever's happening in the moment. So she saw the choreo that we were doing, and she would do certain steps with us when she felt like it was like the right moment to do it. Like she is totally like a creative director. Like you could
course,
totally
yeah,
tell
you
by
see
the
that.
way that she like likes to put her performances together. So I know she knows the right time to do the right thing, and I think she just like. Like at the rehearsals and during the performance, I saw her like, oh, okay, like I think I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this there, I'm gonna do this here, and she just totally did that. It looked like she just knew what to do all at the right time. you
Yeah,
know?
of course. So, like, how did you get to Canada's Got Talent then? Because I knew a lot of people on that dance team too. And then when I saw you guys on TV, my mind was blown because like I wasn't on social for a while, and then I saw you
Yeah.
guys on TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yo, my boy Jesi, Benita, like all you guys are killing
Yeah, yo, Shadow Entertainment, man.
Shadow
Shout
Ent.
out to Tobin, Shadow. That
it. So okay, Shadow Ent is a dance team that formed how and when?
Yeah, Shadow actually formed back in, I believe, 2012 or 13, like around that time. It was
Yeah.
originally just Tobin and Anoshani.
Okay.
It was just like a two-person team. And then I believe Tobin that's kind of like the original how they started. And then Tobin went on to like create like a really mass team behind this. And it's actually one of the biggest dance teams in Toronto right now. And definitely one of the most accomplished. It was really cool because it was right out of the pandemic. So Tobin like reached out to me like I'm one of the choreographers for Shadow, so like we do like just have these kind of conversations like sometimes, oh yo, like this is coming up, what should we do about it, right? And then Tobin reached out to me like during 2021, like we're still like well thick into the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
The lockdown and everything, and then Canada's Got Talent was having a revamp. They're calling this like their first season one again. They had one 10 years prior.
Right.
Anoshani actually performed or competed on that with Broken Dance
Oh, wow.
like way back then.
Okay.
Right?
So then it came back, and then you're like, okay, we got
Anoshani,
this.
Natasha, Chase. Yeah, that was a really cool time back then. So they decided to revamp and do like a whole new season one again. And Tobin just sent me thinking, yo, should we do this? Like, why not? I think they were also reaching out to certain teams. I was aware that like their friends I had that are like also dancers and performers that were just reached out to by CGT. Like they were like, actively, because I think it was like their first year, so like
They're seeking out good
they were like
auditions.
it was like an open invite, like hey, come audition for us type of thing, right?
Okay.
So we
right.
got past the audition round, and it was cool because we got to repurpose our audition into the actual TV audition, so like
Right.
we wouldn't have to do like make a whole new routine, right? So but yo, it was insane. It was insane. I've never competed, especially at that time, on like a TV competition to that
National
scale.
TV,
National
yeah.
TV, yeah, like to that scale, never. And it was amazing. It's a Bollywood fusion team, right?
Yeah, I see
so like we got to like really show like a lot of different aspects just within that realm, like because I'm one of the main choreographers, I got to like showcase Kuttu like a lot, like, and I was really thankful for that. And
So what was it like? Like you have a lot of young dancers, experienced dancers like you, and then you had to perform for like who was on the panel? Howie, Lily Singh. Like
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
Lily Singh was giving you some support. So
yeah,
like
Trish Stratus was also and like I watched WWE when I was a
course.
kid, right? Yeah,
Who doesn't remember Trish Stratus?
I kept on raving about specifically her. I was like, yo, man, Trish is a judge. Yeah, it was really cool.
like do the nerves get to you at that point? Because you said the first time the whole team was on national TV.
No, man. At this point, man, like I'm so like in this kind of zone competitively that like I welcome it, right? I had this talk with like my team, or like our team, like Shadow, before the auditions. I remember this. I was like, I told them I'm going to the finals. Like this is before we had the auditions. You could ask these guys. I'm like, I know I'm gonna go to the finals, and I'm asking you guys to like come with me, like go at this with so much intensity and energy that there's no way that they're gonna not say yes to us at the auditions. Like let's go all the way. If you look at the YouTube video of our audition round, there's a lot of things that they cut out, which is probably why it looks a little confusing. Some steps don't line up. They do that for the auditions, like because there's so many auditions to get through, right? But if you look at my reaction when they say yes, 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 like everyone is celebrating and going crazy. I'm literally just like, because
You're thinking about the next step.
I knew it was gonna like
Okay.
it's not like it's not being cocky, man. It's about like just being like so zoned in on I'm looking at the finals. What's an audition?
Yeah, you're
Right?
right.
Like I knew we were gonna make it, and I needed the team to like believe like that, because you move differently when you zone in like that. Like you're so like intimidating that everyone is like holy shit, and they kind of like step aside a little bit.
Yeah.
And we definitely move like that for the competition, so it was great. And us being like this kind of like Tamil and like Malayali brown representation like that was really great for like us to see, just like for other people to see.
The representation was amazing. Like
yeah.
representation was amazing. Like to put Tamil people, Malayali people, South Asians on the map like that in front of a national audience, like yo, I was almost tearing up. I'm like, shit, when I was growing up, you would never see that on TV, right? And then people like in my generation, like you're leading a team to do that, right? You're not wasting this opportunity that you got. That's
Man. Yeah, no, trust me. I've gotten like when I get I didn't even think of it like that, but I've gotten so many messages after that were along those lines that I like remembered. Yeah, like there's more. There's a ripple effect, like you don't even realize that like people are looking at it and be like, yo, we can totally do this too, and that's crazy, because I forget that people like sometimes are unsure of themselves, or like they look at something, they don't see representation, they feel like they can't be there, and I totally get that feeling.
I think that was for both of us growing up. Like the most representation I saw was at Kaleo, when you could be amongst other Tamil people and dance and represent yourself.
Yeah.
But I never thought that would be on TV.
Yeah.
Or like I thought that was just like
Yeah.
you can dance for fun on your own, but like you'll never get representation out there.
Yo, man, Tamils right now, I'm gonna tell you, man, they're killing it lately. Yo, there's so many specifically just Tamil people just getting into such high positions in like their field, like whether it's like, the Never Have I Ever actress, Maitri, or like
shout out to her.
or like
OG.
even like the Bridgerton actresses, or even like
The CEO of Google.
yeah, he's a Tamil guy, but like even like right now, K2B movement, who's from Scarborough, like their Tamil dance team, they're competing at Hip Hop International in Arizona, which is they're the first like full Tamil team to compete at Hip Hop International, like Worlds, like that's insane. Like these kind of things are happening now because like these like little waves or like Kalehel happened at the beginning, like it was like a huge
and it is,
community.
yo,
of
you're
people
right, it
just,
is a
like,
ripple, because one small thing that what organizers did back then, it's leading to this right now, right?
Yeah.
And if you're a creative, even if you're a professional, it doesn't matter. Like you don't have to think that you're alone, because you don't know how many people are watching you and getting inspired, right? Like 10 years from now, there's gonna be so many dancers that are like, yo, I want to be like Jesse. Right?
Yeah, I know. Yo,
That's gonna be the case.
It's weird hearing stuff like that, man.
Yo.
I'm never used to that.
Yo, kids say that to
Yeah.
me too when I'm at a party. They're like, yo, I want to make short films like you. I watched your films as a kid. I'm
Bro,
like, what?
Yo,
Bro, I was just having
this
fun
guy
as a-
when we went to London, the amount of people that came to
Yo,
you
United Kingdom
and
is
you were every time we were like the it was the after party, right?
Okay, so this was- yeah.
you were totally like, yo, what's going on right now?
Yeah, so
right?
this was 2019 or something.
Yeah.
We're in London with Sundar V,
Yeah.
a comedian that's just blowing up right now.
Yeah,
right?
yo, he's killing it
We
right
were
now.
co-hosting, and you're the judge for a dance competition. There was a huge after party.
Yeah.
And man, like the reception that I got from as the guy from Basement Reels, I'm like, I did not expect people in London to know.
Yo, I was
me
so
that
happy,
well.
man. I was so proud of you because I saw you not even like realizing the impact you had, right? And usually it's when you leave Toronto, you know, like or just leave local. If you're from UK, if you leave UK, you know, like people start, you know, recognizing you more because you're just not like from there, right? And you just see the impact, right? Like, yo, man, people are looking at like so many people grew up watching Basement Reels, like to them, you know, they're like kids like growing up that they're looking at, they're like, is this guy real? Like, can I touch this guy right now? Like, you know, like
they do that sometimes.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like
you know,
even the
like,
guys on your dance team, I just met them for the first time.
and you
but
just
they're all
don't
good
realize
people.
that when you're in the thick of it, doing your creating, doing your process, like you're doing it for a completely different reason, you know? So like, it's great that you can totally kickstart someone's passion just because you're so zoned in, right?
Yeah, and that pushes me even more. Like at first, it was for myself. Like I just want to do something funny. Like I went through this. Like I'm whitewashed. Maybe someone else is whitewashed.
Yeah.
And then when you put videos out there, like you don't know how it's gonna be received. But yeah, the reception is crazy. But yeah, back to your dancing because I want to talk about Anirudh.
Yeah.
Who's like one of the biggest like creators out of South India right now. Like damn, like
Yo.
people go crazy for this guy. And
Yeah,
here
man.
you are.
And yo, understandably so, man.
yeah, this guy is like a legend.
Yeah, yo,
living walking legend.
It's funny because yo, even I was such a big fan of him, right? But then when I like finally saw him in person, my respect for him just grew so much more. The dude has such a presence and aura, like you could see why as a young person he's respected so much. You know,
I mean, I respect him for his pure talent. Like he's doing things that like I don't care what language you are. Like the music that he's creating is just like it's like phenomenal.
Yeah,
next
it's
level. I don't care what language
after
you're at.
hit
yeah.
after hit
You don't even have
after
to
hit.
understand Tamil to like listen to the music and know how
Yeah.
deep the layers go.
Yeah, yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Anyways, I remember we were talking about Anirudh before, and you're like, his voice is so deep,
Bro,
it's attractive.
it's so sexy, man.
Like-
this dude's voice is like the most attractive voice. I'm showing you right now. If you're ever in a position to just be in a space where he's like on a mic, but he's just talking, you know, this like during tech rehearsal, like it happened often, right? So the dude is like giving little remarks to like, you know, the sound guy or like, you know, the technical guy, whatever. And he's just speaking and I'm just like, I'm like listening to it as if he's singing all out, like, you know, some sort of melody track. His voice has such a nice timbre, like it's like a very nice cadence. And then, so that's his calm like persona, right? And then he just turns it to like 100 when he performs. It's as if he's just saving all of his like wild energy for like when he's a performer. Because when he's like in any atmosphere, any like just like conversation, the dude is like so chill. You would think that the guy is just on some sort of relaxant or something. The dude
Yeah.
is just like chilling.
Well, I could see that because considering like the amount of like kuttu songs he makes, like the high energy, like you have to save that.
Yo,
energy.
you have to. And like, yo, man, the guy, like, I don't know how he has so much energy, but this is why I say maybe he saves it for when he performs because he could run a concert by himself, man. There's a lot of reviews that said this too, and I totally agree with them because he only left like to go change between sets. Like he had like a set 1, set 2, set 3. I think there was like a melody set in between. Yeah, so there's technically 4 sets or whatever. And he was on stage the entire time for all 4 of his sets, right? There would be little things in between happening, like if he was changing between sets. And like, let's say the first set was just his popular BGMs, you know? Like he'll do all of them and then like he'll go to change. And then it'll be like a very well-known singer like Aditya, the guy who sang Bay, right?
Yeah,
From
yeah.
Dawn.
Yeah.
Like he'll like have like his own moment on stage. No musicians, everyone is getting a little bit of rest before the next set, and he's just, you know, taking over the whole stage, you know. So they know how to like fill in the gaps with like someone important or someone like that will, you know, take everyone in, and then he'll just come back and bro, he just will not turn off.
Damn.
It's like he commands the atmosphere, he commands his presence, like, And then like you think that he'll like, okay, a song is done, maybe he's gonna chill for a bit. No, like he'll be like, all right, boys and girls, like, you ready to hear this now? Or like, how many of you guys are single? Or like, who's in a relationship? Like 10 seconds, all right, what do you think about this? And then you just hear the next track and everyone goes wild again. I'm like, bro, like, do you not need like some rest? Do you not need
Well,
a
I
break?
feel like he feeds off of the energy. Like
Yo.
imagine a crowd like that. Like was this a Germany show that you went to or
No, so this we toured all over the US.
All the
So
US,
like, yo,
okay.
this is why like this experience was even like more so than normal. We didn't just like go and one-off perform with this guy. We got to travel all across the states with him and his entire team, right?
All right, so tell me this before you continue. What's the most embarrassing or interesting Anirudh moment?
Embarrassing or interesting? Yo, let me think about that. There's so many moments.
He seems like a
right?
character, dude.
Yeah, no, he is a character, man. He like for example, like, when we Naromi and Kajant, they got these specific jackets like made for our tour for the dancers, right? It says like Once Upon a Time on the back. I should have brought it so you could have seen it. And it says like all the cities that we toured on the back. Like it was a really nice gesture of them to do it for the dancers. And then the tour people saw that and they wanted it too, right? So like Anirudh's mom saw, for example. So by the end of the
he
tour,
brought his mom and stuff too. His family.
yeah, it was really cool.
Dope.
So by the end of the tour, Kajant got an opportunity to kind of go to Toronto and come back because he had some work to do, and he got another jacket made for Anirudh and Anirudh's mom. So when we gave it to Anirudh on that last day, that last concert, Anirudh this is what I mean. Like he's just effortlessly funny. He'll like take it and he'll give it to like his guy, and he'll tell his guy, he'll be like, because it's two jackets, anaconde, anacamonde, right? Like it's like, you know, like it's like, yo, it's like, even though like, yo, both of them are mine, you're like, that's how nice they are, and everyone would like erupt into laughter, right? Like even though clearly it's for his mom, right? Like, and he'll just do it without missing a beat, you know, and then he'll go back to us and like I wouldn't say there's any embarrassing moments, man. If there was, like, the dude would play it off so easily. It's like he did it on purpose.
dope,
He's like so slick, man. I don't know how to like explain.
Yeah,
like
he seems suave.
suave, yo. It's an excellent word for it. Like, I think after all these kind of like interactions he must have had with so many different people, so many different groups, so many different cultures and ethnicities, I think the dude knows how to carry himself in any situation, yo. Like, you can't catch him slipping, I don't think.
Damn. So are you gonna make it to India? You said you're planning a trip to India in November, right?
I'm going.
Link up with him. You're gonna link up with Knuckles, sir, that we met at London
Yeah,
too.
I'm gonna try to link up with Nakul. I'm gonna try to link up with Sandy. I'm gonna try to link up with just anyone that I've worked with or been a part of, like on a judging table or something.
True.
There's a couple projects happening around that time too with artists I've worked with recently, so I'm gonna like work on those as well. But my main reason for going to India is to train. There's an amazing dancer, like probably my favorite dancer ever, choreographer actually, like is probably even better way to say it because I'm so into choreography. Ravi Varma in Chennai. I'm gonna go get trained by him, like getting some private training from him. He's one of my original inspirations for like making like lyrical choreography. I have like different kinds of choreography I like making. If it's kuttu, like I'll go off on like a very specific way of doing it, whether it's fusion or more classic. But there's a specific kind of choreo like I like making. If you've ever seen my set to Ava and like it's a very, very lyrical set. I take apart every single word. Like if there's like Ratinam or something like a roller coaster, I'm like doing this because I'm specifically trying to show that roller coaster. And I'm inspired to make sets like that because of Ravi Varma.
Yeah.
He's so in tune with lyricism and control, and he's trained his foundation in his body to such a good degree that he can move in just so many incredible ways, right? Like, I'm just so inspired by him in any and every way. And his like expressions and the way he is telling a story just in his facials alone is just top notch. The dude is like such a high tier, high grade like dancer and choreographer that I've always wanted to learn from him. And then the pandemic came in the way when I was going to go in 2019. So like, you know, like we're just getting out of it. A lot of things are happening, but I finally I'm like ready to go and get trained by this
I think
guy.
things happen for a reason because in the time between the pandemic and now, like, you've toured with like MIA, Anirudh, you did Sai Siva's song. Like, things happen for a reason.
Yeah, you're right.
So
You're right,
let me ask you this. I think Anirudh, he used a lot of local talent for his tour, right?
Yeah.
So when you go there, are you trying to see more local talent that you know here make it to India? Or do you think there's a separate industry for dancing here and then also dancing in movies in India and stuff?
Yeah, like movies in India, like I mean, even for people there, it's difficult, right? Like it's like
even if you're born and raised there, it's hard to get in.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like I have a friend who's from Switzerland. I believe in Switzerland or France. Bobby Mohan. He was recently in the Not Ready Dance actual music video, like that Vijay's.
By the way, that's my jam. Yo,
Yeah.
we're blasting that all over the
Yeah,
wedding times. Just
Yeah.
blasting that.
So
yeah.
so yeah, bro, I can't stop playing this. Yeah, the dude, he's a sick dancer, crazy dancer. I've been a fan of him for years, and he recently, I think he moved to India to train or something along those lines, and he got the opportunity to get to dance in it. So now, as a dancer, I feel like maybe those opportunities aren't as hard to get. But then there's the other side of it. It's like choreography and like getting like roles where it's like just a little bit higher up the ladder. Those are extremely hard to get. You know, like it's
So is there a career for? Let's be practical. Is there a career for dancers? Like, what's the career path? If you really love dance, you don't want to sit in an office. You just want to dance.
I'll say like what I heard from Mr. Wiggles, which is like a hip hop.
Yo, he's an icon.
Yeah, icon. I took one of his like classes recently, and
Mr. Wiggles. But
yeah,
back in the
like-
day, I'm talking 80s.
Yeah. He's one of like the longest going dancers in the street dance scene in terms of like he never stopped.
Right.
You know, like and one of the original people to do it. You know, like literally an icon of hip hop, pioneer in hip hop and street dance. And like I get trained by Footnotes Academy downtown on street dancing. So like I'm like a lot like I've been like getting a little bit more involved in this culture. So I've been going to a lot of these workshops. And what he told us, like in terms of longevity, was build your own platform. You know, like it's the easiest way to like be a little bit more stable with what you're doing. Like, and that does come with, okay, you need to be someone, right? Like you need to be someone that puts out work, or like someone that like someone can associate someone with something.
Yeah, and you have to be motivated enough to push yourself. There's some people that are creative, but they can't plan it out. They can't, stick to a schedule. Like that's all part of it too.
Yeah. So like there's so many, and there's so many different barriers and problems that come with that alone. So if there's people that have been doing it for 10, 20 years even, and you still haven't like you don't have like a proper audience, like I don't blame you at all.
It's hard.
It's hard, man. It's so hard. Like,
not even in dance, in comedy, in
another part of
acting.
it. It's getting lucky.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and we hear this all the time, like in industries, in the movie industry, like dancing, choreo. It doesn't matter. Like sometimes it's just someone you know. You're like they like just like the person you are, and they want to work with you, and they've heard that you've worked on like some cool stuff lately. I've gotten so many gigs like that. Like I've made it like a point. So yeah, like aside from what Wiggles would say, my personal piece of advice would be networking. I've made it like a very, very strong, important point to network with as many creatives around the world as possible. I've done this ever since I started. This is why I know so many people in the European dance scene, like Yahi, Pira, and like all these like they're like pioneers in the Tamil dance scene, like even like TUK boys and stuff like that, like in like Switzerland. There's so many people that like I went and like purposely made sure I met and made sure that I either learned from or I would keep in contact with, because you never know where it's gonna lead to. You never know when like that connection is gonna come in handy for you even, or you never know the people that they know or like the kind of skill sets that they can offer you. There's so many things that you can gain from just networking, right? So I know dancers in like Singapore, Malaysia, India, all over Europe if I wanted to start naming countries, America,
man, that's dope that
the
you
list
do
goes
that.
on. And they're like my friends.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I know them. I don't just follow them. I didn't just send them a message. Like we've been connecting for years. And it's gone to a point where like, like they're linking me for things. I'm getting flown out by these people to do things because I networked with them 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And they keep seeing the things that I'm doing.
That's one of the biggest things for networking. It's not about like what's the next job I want to do. It's just be friendly with people and it'll come back around.
Yeah, you're genuinely trying to network with them.
Yeah.
You're genuinely trying to be their friend because, that is the first point. The main point is you really want to be friendly and be like, oh, like have a relationship with this person. But that's a given. You should already like be like that, right? But the more important thing is to like actively do that with a lot of people in your industry, a lot of people in the general industry that you're in. I know a lot of musicians. I know a lot of like rappers and singers because, those are the kind of tracks that I'll eventually be on if I'm going to be choreographing. Or like I know a lot of people that run concerts, or I know a lot of people that run just shows in general or productions. people that network. I know people that hire actors and actresses. I know, the person that knows them.
Yeah.
I know those people. Like it's like
crazy.
you need to know everybody in the field. And you like, yo, man, I could give less of a shit if I was like following less than 100 people.
Right.
I know some people are like that, but I'm not. Like I want to network as much as possible. Like, yeah, like you can't network with everyone. Like, sure, you're not gonna follow back everyone that follows you, but yo, like if someone follows you, man, check out their page for a second.
For sure.
You never
Yeah.
like, yo, just like a couple of days ago, I got followed by some guy that literally flies out A.R. Rahman to do concerts in Europe. And he
Oh.
followed me a couple of days ago. I'm like, why wouldn't I
So
follow this
you're
guy
gonna get a
back?
call.
You
You're gonna
never
get-
know.
you're gonna get
Maybe
a
in
call.
5-10 years, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like the dude has a blue check mark. I don't know if he bought it, but like the guy who sang Bay, Aditya, he follows him. A couple of people from India like that are on Anirudh's like casting crew, like his drummer, he follows him. I'm like, yo,
So
like
don't be
the
stingy
dude
with the
only
follow
has
back.
like 100
Yeah.
followers or something, but I'm like, yo, who cares? Right? Like, yo, like this is what I mean by networking and like connecting with people. If you're looking for longevity and you're looking to get hired, if you're trying to like bank in hours on what you're doing specifically, you need to talk to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
You never know where your work is going to come from.
Yeah. Don't be stingy with the follow back, people.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't at all.
Yeah.
I totally get like, like it looks appealing to your profile when you're not following a lot of people. It does. But then if you look at someone like maybe like Rihanna or something like that, she probably follows over 2,000 people, 1,000 people. But like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
Like
at
it
all.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like what really matters is what you put out. Does your like actual work that you're putting out reflect like high grade and high quality, right? And if it does, the ratio will happen by itself. You will have more followers than you're following. That will just happen, right?
Yeah.
But networking is like the single greatest thing that's helped me, like survive in the industry for sure.
For sure. All right, so since you're a dancer, let me just ask you this. What's your most hated dance trend? What's a dance trend that like when you see it when you hear it come on in the club, you're like, I'm not doing this. Like, is it the Macarena? Is it the
So
what's
I
the
always
choo-choo train one? What?
I always leave the dance floor. Always leave the dance floor when people start the follow the leader.
Yo, that's my cue to come on, bro.
I always like I'll be jamming heavy to whatever. I'll even do like the one where they're like left foot and right foot,
that the
like take
two-step?
it back now, yeah.
Okay.
Like I'll still do that. But if they start to follow the leader, I don't know what it is, man. I'm just like, I'm gonna go to the bar. I'm gonna sit down for a bit. I'm gonna take a break. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Is it because you got to be the leader? You can't follow?
No, I don't know. I
come
don't
on,
know what it is.
Jesi, bro.
I don't know what it is, man. Like,
Yeah.
I think at this point now it's become such a habit that like I'll just hear the beginning beat of it. I already know what's coming.
I need
just
a shot.
Yeah. I just like, all right, I'm out. Like, yeah. But
Man,
yeah,
I like that
I
one.
promise I'm a fun guy.
Yo, I like that one because it's the one time like everyone's in their own little circle doing a little dance stuff, and then as soon as that song comes on, the whole dance floor is
It does.
united.
It does. Yo, for the sake of the dance floor, it's good. It shakes things up. You end up on for the floor.
and then you break it up and get back.
Yeah,
into
no, totally.
Yeah.
I understand why it's sick. I'm like, nope, and I just like out of there.
Damn. Okay.
I have no idea. But even like dance trends or like something like, or like a specific like, like there's like, like a move like that's just trending. Sometimes I miss some of them and I don't do them, like, and then I'm like, and everyone's doing it. I'm like, yo, what is this move? Like, and I don't like, and I think usually like the ones I don't like really like, I'm not really into would be the ones where like I'm not into the song.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, like what's the point of this? Like for the longest time, I wasn't like into the Aribakute move. Like I was like,
What is that move?
just like the halamati
Oh,
happy,
that, yeah.
like it's just like I was like.
This?
Like what is it?
I don't know.
And then, but yo, it grew on me. I'm not gonna lie. And like a lot of like these kind of things do grow on you. Like now, like if that comes on the dance floor, man, like you best believe like I'm doing like like the moves and I'm like having a good time with everyone.
But you know what's gonna be crazy? Like after seeing the Amama dance video come out with Sai Siva, I feel like when that song comes on the dance floor, people are gonna be doing like,
Bro,
what's that move? I can't even do it. What is it? This?
it's the puttitari
Yeah.
and then it's the walking stick. Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
the-
If I see people do that, that would
Tear
like,
out of your
yeah,
eye.
bro. I actually be like, this is a moment right here. I don't even know what to.
It
like,
is a
do. I don't
moment.
know
Even
what
when
to
we're in Menu's house, who was the lead female choreo, the dancer, like the whole team watching it, and you're just on the couch in the center because you didn't watch it before that day.
do. Yeah, yo.
'Cause
Yeah.
everyone wanted to see your reaction to the video for the first time, and then see like 50 people, the room full of people, dancers, choreos. I was there. I wasn't in the video, but I was just supporting Basement Reels, right? And to see your reaction after that, that's
No, man, yo, that was crazy. That it was actually trippy. That was the most amount of people I seen do the hook step at one time. Even just our little video that we took after that watch party, right? It was really, like, I didn't even take it in the moment. Like, you know, I saw Sai post it the next day, and I was like, yo, there's so many people doing the hook step.
Yeah.
It makes you want to see so many more people do it. Like, you know, it would just be
people
so cool.
will,
you
man.
know?
You're starting the trend, man.
Yo,
And
we hit over 100,000 views on the music video in 3 days.
It's gonna hit
You
a
know?
million. It's gonna go big.
Yeah, like,
Knowing Sai
I'm
and
hoping so,
Rati
yeah.
and what those guys do,
Bro, Sahi, man. Sahi deserves everything that's coming to him.
he's
you know?
on something.
He-
I told him at the
dude.
yeah, I told
he
him at the
works.
day, like, one of his talents that I'm trying to learn is how he unites people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like he has a vision, and then Lakshman had a vision, the director, right?
Yeah.
And then to bring you guys in, the choreo in, basement reels in, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's hard to do that. He's from London too.
Yeah.
To fly to another part of the world, bring
Yeah.
people together, and put out something like that with Nityashree singing
Yo,
too.
man.
Like this is a global effort, right?
Yo, I can't talk enough about like the music video if I got started, just because it was the amount of like how it couldn't have even have happened. You know, like he was originally trying to do like a lyric video. And then, like, you know, when Lakshman heard the song, he was like, "Nah, man, you gotta do a music video to this." You know, like
Yeah, that needs
because
it's such a nice dance number.
And Sahi's reasoning was, he's like, it's not like he wouldn't want to do a music video. It's like if he did it, it had to be like something that came out of a talent movie, or else he wasn't trying to do it. You know, and I understand, man. Like the song felt like so filmy, right? And then we're like, yo, why don't we just try to make it like that? Why don't we try to get the funding? Why don't we like try to do this, right? And then, yo, these guys went off. Like they got funding.
How did you
know, like-
secure funding? That's a big question that artists have. Even
Yo,
filmmakers have.
Yo, like the main thing is the sponsor, whoever like is like gonna put down, like you have to give them something that, you know, that's gonna work for them specifically in their favor, that works with what you're doing. In our case, it was Play Me, right? Like
Play Me was the
being our
sponsor.
audio streaming sponsor, like among like whoever else they got for funding. It was one of our main title, like kind of like streaming sponsor, right? And why that sponsor worked well for us, like, or like someone good to reach out to at least. It's like, yo, we're making a song. We know it's gonna be a hit. You have a streaming platform, you know, like why don't we exclusively, you know, like stream it on yours for a few days? You know, like those talks like that, you know, like we worked it out with them. But like that would be an excellent way for you to go about if you're trying to secure funding. If you're trying to do something, try to find someone that would benefit from directly what you're trying to do, you know, and you give them the benefit first before anyone else, you know, and you tell them. And obviously, like the other kind of points come in. You got to be someone that people believe in. You got to have quality work, you know, like when Lakshman was like pitching these kind of things to sponsors, he had Sahi to, you know, like Sahi's body of work is so great, you know, like he has like literal hits, like, you know, like Nenjanile or like Nankuri Kaporan or Surak, like hits, you know, like millions and millions of views. Like you can't argue with numbers, right? So like they were like down for it, and then it was kind of like, all right, cool, like let's actually make this happen, right? And at that point, it can be a little scary because it's like you have to, like, if you're trying to like do it, you have to like do it properly, right? And the reason why I think it worked so well is because we had like a team full of people that are really good at what they did. You know, like Sahi, like if we just like spoke about just him, he's the kind of guy that likes to be good at the things he does. So if he dabbles in like producing, which he does so well, you know, like he did a lot of the work for like the actual track as well, like with Deo. And like he also edited a lot of the music video, which is crazy.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, like he danced the entire time, you know, like he and he even at practices he'd be singing it while he was doing the choreo and practicing, just to make sure like there was like actual audio coming out of his mouth. He wasn't just lip syncing it, just to make sure that you know, if he was to perform this, he could dance and perform it, you know, like
he's thinking about that.
Yo, the dude works hard, man. And we did start like the process like you know, like a couple of months earlier to make sure we were like ready for the music video. Sure, like you would, right?
Yeah.
But he, like, let's say, okay, I'm teaching him choreography. We had our own sessions. We're working on it, and I'll be like, all right, like, you know, just make sure you practice. You know, like I'll give him, you know, a couple of like notes after practice. And he literally looked at me like, you know, like, are you dumb? Like, you think I wouldn't practice? Like, no way, I'm gonna look stupid, right? Like, it's like, okay, all right, facts, let's do this, right?
Yeah.
And yo, like every time, man, the guy who come into practice and like, and you don't often see this with artists, you know, like they treat like the practice session with you like their practice session. That happens a lot, right? Like you don't really blame them because you have such a busy life, right? He clearly practices, you know, he clearly puts in the work outside to like, come in, be ready to like, all right, now like let's do more, not just like let's like work on whatever like I did, right? And it was so clearly reflective in like the actual music video. So many people that like have seen like Sahi dance in the past or perform were like blown away by the fact that he was like dancing this much or like to this degree or like this much or like that much of it within like one single project kind of thing, right? It was there. Everyone was so blown away, and I had to really give it up to Sai, like that's tough to do.
Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, yeah. And everyone on the project is just so zoned in like that. Lakshman, the dude, the vision that he had for like the song, like the reason why certain like, okay, like a set, like all of a sudden like that black background with like, the silver outfits and the pink and everything, that when that came for the first time, it slaps you in the face.
Yeah.
Like it came out of nowhere, because the way that, Lakshman like envisioned how to like cut in and out. And it was definitely a collaborative effort between Sahi and Lakshman, but the dude as a director had so many things that he just knew would work, and that made it so much easier for me because I can't just blindly make choreo. Like almost every timestamp in this video was like choreographed. Everything was so meticulously thought and planned out. Like it wasn't one of those music videos. And sometimes, granted, you have to do this, right? Like this is not like to put down those videos, but we didn't do any of those shots where it's like he was just singing in one spot and we just took it the whole time. And then, all right, we'll cut in and out of this if we need to.
This felt like a movie dance number.
Yeah, like we made it like that to a point where like if we didn't shoot the specific like an 8-beat somewhere, we would have got screwed. And that almost happened on the last day of shooting. And like we had to be so on top of everything, like we were shooting like a specific, there was this one little moment in the music video where Sahi is just like, it's just like Mainon going, he's like, like it's a little moment, like, right? That was shot while things were getting taken down. Behind where you can't see it. Like we're running out of time before like the rental is over, and like it's our last shot. We're getting it in, and like but that's just because we knew like that had to get done, right? Like there wasn't like oh, don't worry, we can fill it in with something else. Like there was so much planning and so much like that went into the music video that like could not have like happened if it wasn't for the people that were on board. Like Wild Rabbit. Pradeep.
Yeah, Wild Rabbit. Shout out to Pradeep, man.
Bro, his shots so good. I see him get a specific shot and I look at his face and the way he like reacted, the smile, and I'm like, I knew the dude got like, I'm like, that shot's going in the music video. Like I could tell by his face. Yeah. Right? Like
talented guy.
Yeah, too, Deepika and Sobika, the artistic direction, they helped us so much on set. Like even like just random little things, like the things that would the flavor, the cherry on top, the icing, like it comes from like the artistic direction, like, and like Bayav, like my girlfriend Artika, like she made the outfits, styling, and created the outfits, like literally made the outfits or got them ordered for like this whole thing, created the looks, like the whole mood board. You had to make sure it doesn't clash with the background. You had to make sure that like everything works properly. Is it different from the other set? Does everything work cohesively? It's like putting together like a dance competition set, like
course,
every scene has to be so different, so like the choreographers like that I spoke about earlier, like me, Artika, Pucci, like like we put so much work just into the hook step. It was the last thing that we taught because it was the thing that we put the most like thinking into. Like we had to make sure that anyone, like little kids, and I was so happy to see reels of like literal kids in India and everywhere just doing it.
They're recreating it, eh?
Yo, man, they're just like in classes doing like the step, and it's so funny because when they're doing it, they're just going all out, and they love the character references. Oh, it's a thadi, it's a putti thadi, it's a walking stick, and it's so funny to see like Chinnapalil doing like Amma Papa stuff. Like it's crazy. Funny, way funnier. So we had to make sure kids could do it. We had to make sure that older people could do it on the dance floor, and we had to make sure that if you were a seasoned dancer, you could pull out like certain things to make it look cooler and better. Like there is like a part of the hook step like later on that like we'll drop a video for that, like, oh, try this, like if you want like to like challenge yourself. But we didn't just like leave that for like the dancers. In the music video itself, like there's like right after the putti thing, there's like a little bit of a hop, like a pas de beret,
I couldn't
like
get
a
that.
rollback, right? It's like little things that you can add in, like little textures to your body, like change the way you do your pas de beret, change the way you do like the rollback, and like the way that you can hit your like shoulders like with moves. You could do whatever you want with the moves if you're a dancer, right? So we but yo, like that didn't come overnight. You know, like
Yeah, it took time.
we went through a lot of different edits on like the hook step.
Yeah.
We like, and we even collaborated with Sahi. Like, you know, like that part where it goes, I'm a ma, like a I'm a ma, oh sorry, it's like this. I'm a ma, I'm like forget my one hook step.
Yeah.
Like that part specifically, like we made that with Sahi. We're like, you know, what do you want people to do? Like, what kind of movements do you want them to be doing in the crowd? Like, how do you feel when you sang this? What kind of groove did you feel? Like he
Damn.
like always had like this kind of bounce to him. All right, yo, let's do this kind of kick bounce. Like,
Alright.
like
I can't
let's-
wait to see that at
and, like,
clubs and parties. Right?
even this, I love doing like the kumbure. Like I do this all the time. Whenever I perform, at the end of any performance, you'll see me like.
I think I saw that at Got Talent. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I do it all the time. I love it. Like it became a staple without me realizing it. And then like I was like, why not just add that in there? Like,
Yeah.
boom. And the clap worked, and without us even realizing, it worked so well for the editing. Like
You could
we
sync
cut
it up, eh?
between like takes with the clap. It was so, and that was something Lakshman was able to bounce off of the choreo that we made on. Like, oh, we can edit with that move. Like,
Yeah.
everyone has to work so well with each other. The bouncing has to be so effortless, and it totally was.
Okay, that
You
leads
know?
me into this question. So, like, yeah, it was all this local talent that did that, right?
Yeah.
But in Indian choreo,
Sorry, like,
and like Indian choreography in like Indian movies is like if you're trying to get choreo work over there,
Mm-hmm.
like what's it like for you versus someone?
so okay, well, like
Because
just-
I'll say-
it
I'm
might
not-
suck. It might suck for people there sometimes because like there could be like situations where they would be open to hiring me just because I'm from international. Like,
Oh, you think it's like
this-
a perception thing?
Yeah, yeah. This is like so. Like, there's a lot of amazing, incredible dancers in India that because they're considered local talent, like they don't get the opportunities that they should. And I'm not saying that I'm taking those opportunities away. I'm saying that they'll just keep giving it to people that are in the industry that have like dance schools, you know, like that are very, very established. And like, you know, like it sucks because, like, you know, what can you really do when you look at from the other way as well, from the point of view of the perspective of these dance schools, they've gotten to the point where they're so established and they have all
Yeah.
these students. They have like Johnny Master, Robert Master,
Yeah, and
Caesar Master,
they spent
whoever.
years building
Yeah.
their name too,
Yeah,
right? So
like-
why would they?
So why wouldn't
Deviate.
they be given the chance to like to choreograph, especially when like, oh, you need dancers? Well, look, they have so many students. You know, like, oh, we can outsource or whatever. Like that if they were gonna go about it that way. And like, I also understand like there's so many political problems in India, right? Like there's politics everywhere. If you don't get asked to do a certain thing, like, you know, like I can understand that they would be like, oh, okay, so you're not gonna ask me now? Okay, well then I'm not gonna ask you for this then.
So this is what I heard. Maybe you mentioned it or someone else that people work in teams, like very tight knit circles. So
Yeah,
you
man.
want to work in the same circle for this movie, then the next project, then the next project.
Yeah,
And if you bounce one person out, they'd be like, okay, why do you not join us this time? Let's get this guy, and then you have another tight knit circle for the next few projects.
I've heard this specifically from people like in the industry, like that they work in teams, like, you know, like, or like not all of them, but like I would say like a very, very majority of like and when I say the industry, like we can use Collywood as an example because, you know, we're Tamil. Sure, we'll just
Right.
think about Collywood, but we're just like, sure, like it's like you see like a lot of the same directors and writers and choreographers and like music producers where they all work together. And sure, it's amazing because as fans, we love to see like, oh, like this name again and this name together again and this name together. We love that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You want to see the same
Yeah,
collab.
of course you do.
You want to
but
see
then,
them
like
hit them
the
out the park.
opposite
Yeah.
is also happening. We have to be aware that like there's incredible, amazing creatives in all of those spaces that I mentioned that are not getting their shot. Like because like directors or choreographers are always going to be the one at the forefront. They're always going to ask so and so. They're always going to be like, oh, I'm just going to hire. Like, yo, they did a great job. Everyone loves that hook step. That music video went viral. Like, why wouldn't I ask them again? Right? Like, even
Yeah.
for them, it works so well for them too. But
I guess
it
it makes
sucks
sense,
because
though.
yeah, like it just sucks for.
It sucks, but like it makes sense. Even for basement reels, let's say, right? We work with the same actors sometimes because we know there's a role and they could fit it. But then I guess it comes down to trying to open up your script or to whatever to new talents, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like,
there's a balance, I guess, to find.
We definitely run into this problem in our community as well, where like, you know, like the same people will be given like given opportunities because
But
You'll see their name pop up again and again.
yeah.
You'll be like,
It's-
yeah, but
on one hand,
is
it's
that
because they proven themselves, so they deserve it. But I guess what you could do is like the thing that Sai Silva and you guys are doing, right? Like you make your own opportunities and you make a banger song like this where, you know, all your dancers can get a chance to be in a video.
Yeah, no, that's precisely it, man. Like, even for the music video for Sahi, I actually put out an audition call out. Like, I put it on my story, just for 24 hours. You know, like, I had like 50 to 60 people audition. We only selected like about like 14-ish dancers, right? Because of the budget and everything. We actually selected more, and then like, you know, there was a problem with the budget, and we actually had to like cut a few before we got started. It was unfortunate, but like this is the reality, and like I don't mind talking about it because you should be aware that these kind of things happen, right? But I did do my best to make sure that I wasn't just picking and choosing from the people that are like immediately like in my like view, because sure, like that works out for me though. Like, see, this is just the same way you were saying earlier. I work with like seasoned dancers that are my students or people that I often just dance with because they've proven to me time and time again that they can deliver.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas it's not to say that I wouldn't work with someone else, you know, like it's just that sometimes like why, like if it's convenient and in the world that like, in the world of the industry that we're in, this whole like entertainment industry, everything's so fast paced, you know, like I'm getting requests for things and they're like, we're shooting in 20 days. Can you deliver?
Yeah.
You know, like it's like
you need to be
all
able
the
to contact the people you know to get it done, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like sometimes I can't put out the audition call out. Sometimes even though I want to give everyone the chance I can,
No,
but
I hear
I
that.
am trying to, right? Like I think we should like make the effort whenever possible to like give like the person that still hasn't put out their own work or still hasn't gotten to that point where like, oh, I'm not putting enough work out there to be recognized. I'm not training enough consistently, but I am looking to at least challenge myself and at least put myself in a room where I can get inspired. And like, oh, at least I'm at an audition for like a music video. Oh, this is so new. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't make it, but I want to do this kind of thing.
Yeah,
What,
some
what
people
can
just
I do to
don't
be
know
better?
how to get out there, right? But that's
Yeah,
why
like-
following people like you and I'll plug Basement Reels. Like we try to bring people like you on the shows to talk about what it's like to come up and dance and in this industry that has no path, but you're making your own path, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially as like Tamil guys here, I feel like okay, do you see yourself in the Tamil space or do you want to dance into like all areas?
All areas for sure, but I'll never not say I'm like not Tamil, right? Like I'm never
course,
not.
that's
gonna,
who you are.
I'm gonna always gonna, but I'm gonna like make it a point. I have so much respect for like Maitreya and like Priya Raghu, like for like speaking so like yo, we're Ulan Tamil and like these kind of things are happening back home, have happened back home. Like, you know, like we've gone to struggle. There's a Tamil diaspora. Like they openly talk about these things on like Vogue magazine and things like
Which
that.
is so
Right?
important,
Which is so
yeah.
important, right? So like, and why I mentioned that is like, I love Tamil people. I want to be a champion in this space for sure. But I want Tamil people to get outside that space. And that's why I'm training at like Footnotes Academy. I'm learning like street styles. Like they train me on hip hop, popping, locking, house, and breakdancing, you know? And I'm embedding these styles into like my the way I move so it is more unique. But I'm also trying to be the bridge between the two communities.
Yeah.
I want more Tamil people specifically. Like, yeah, brown people for sure, but Tamil people to enter these spaces, like challenge yourselves and be better. Like the whole world, like there was like, we see these ways of everyone learning Afro, everyone learning like hip hop even, or everyone wanting to learn these specific things. Don't tell me that can't happen for Kuttu.
I see that. I've thought of this for years. There is going to be a wave where Kuttu is a thing. Like people like Anirudh, Sai, you're bringing that wave to the mainstream.
Yeah, and
right?
it can only happen if you put your Kuttu out there in these communities of other dancers,
Yeah.
right? Like I often speak to my like friends in like these non-Tamil spaces about what Kuttu is and like, you know, like where it derives from and just like why I do it and why I enjoy kind of like sharing it, right? And like how I want them to do it. And like I'm actually they're coming out soon, but I'm actually finally collaborating with people in the street dancing to do Kuttu. And like I'm really excited for stuff like that. And these kind of things should have happened like before for us to like have people understand and recognize our style. Like everyone knows what Bollywood is,
but
no one knows what Kuttu is, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, or not enough people.
Okay, it's not about stepping away from to the Tamil audience, right?
Yeah.
Because I was born here, so I learned filmmaking here. So I want to make movies and bridge the Tamil audience to the global audience.
Yeah.
Right. You're doing the same for dance.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, even like Pradeep, like Wild Rabbit Entertainment, he went to Toronto Film School.
oh
You know,
yeah, you did.
yeah,
Damn.
it's so crazy how many times I get that reaction.
It's because
He'll be like, oh, really?
everyone I know, nobody went to film school. We
Yeah,
all went to
man.
some practical thing, accounting, engineering, and then
Yo,
we found film on the way.
Yeah, and like it's crazy because he's just so lethal, right? And like sometimes like you forget like, oh, like maybe some of these guys actually professionally learn their shit, right? Like, and you can go
Yeah.
do that too, you know, like build your super strong base, get really good at what you do, and a lot of that comes from like learning like a really professional thing. Like if you like, okay, like an excellent example is the lead of the Amama music video, Menu, right?
Yeah.
She built a base from like classical, like Bharatanatyam. She is like one of my favorite Bharatanatyam dancers. Like since
She's
time.
good.
She's,
Her
I've
expressions on point.
I've
man.
often worked with her in the past because of her skill and in specifically in that like realm, and she had so much excellence in that it almost outpoured into the other things that she did.
Yeah.
Like she was so good at classical that she was just naturally a good dancer, and then found herself like okay, like for example, like expressions bhavams, I think they're called. My bad if I mispronounce that. In Bharatanatyam, like it's such a big thing. Literally expressive dancing. It's like
Yeah.
you show like anger or sadness, happiness, and all these to the extreme. Like, oh, like this is exactly what it is. Like if you're that good at that, wouldn't it make sense that you would just translate that into like acting and like into like being able to express in dancing and performance and
Yeah.
like being able to like bounce from like, oh, being like sad or being happy or like just immediately, just because in classical a foundation is specifically for expressiveness, right? So like, and like she's
Yeah, I often
she's
say that. I
killing
said this
it,
to
you
her
know?
too. Like we even in our earlier videos, we often ask dancers to act with us because we knew that they could express, they could be in front of a camera,
Yeah.
they could just get it on point. But
it is building a foundation, right?
Yeah.
And like, so if you want excellence in some sort of field, like it's like building that one skill. Sure, everything will kind of start coming out from that other skill. But like, this is why from my dance team, like move for one, I always say move as one because that's our Instagram handle, but it's called One, right?
Yeah.
We have a training team and a competitor team, and the training team is in some ways more important to me because we train specifically on foundation. You know, like we make sure that these guys understand that by building that base, that's how you'll build like the whole tree. You know, like
Right.
if you just, and this is why like I found a lot of trouble and difficulty in dance at the beginning was I was like just going off in one direction, right? Like I was like competitive. Like we did autumn and all this stuff before I even learned foundations in any dancing, which is crazy
yeah.
to me because we were just learning from people. Hey, teach me this choreography, this set, and let me just execute the best I can, right? But if you learn foundations, you'll realize that if someone tries to teach you something, you already have all these nuances and all these like understandings of all these forms and like rhythm and balances that if they showed you something, it's like, it's this, and this that you're doing.
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
and automatically, okay, now show me the nuances and textures because I already know the base.
Damn,
Like
yeah.
that's so important for a dancer, but we didn't, like a lot of us that just grew up with friends like me specifically, like we just like, let's just do it because we're friends and we just want to dance. And then we got serious. We didn't realize the importance of foundation.
Yeah, but you
know?
learned your foundation, and now you're killing it, man. Over the past 3 years, I've seen your growth, and it's exponential at this point. When you go to India, you come back, you do more shit in the
Yeah, I'm
next
excited,
couple
man.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for coming on to this podcast. I guess
Yo,
one
thank you
last
for having
question.
me,
Yeah,
man.
no, for sure. One last question for someone that's young that wants to do what you do or get creative. What's one piece of advice you'd give them?
One like piece of advice, like I mean, we talked about the networking thing earlier, so like like make sure you do that. But I'll tell you to train. You know, like train.
Work on your stuff.
Yeah, like train consistently. Make a habit tracker. This really, really helps me. When I was in the pandemic and the lockdown, I recorded myself doing 4 things specifically. I was like, okay, I'm gonna check off this box if I worked out today. If it was a rest day, I'll just check it off. If I practice a musical instrument, if I freestyled, just dance freestyling, and if I trained, like foundation trained, okay? If I did those things, I would just do a check mark. Okay, And then by the end of the month, I got to look back, okay, how often did I, like do it? Okay. Then you have all these stats to work with. Okay. Then you can look back, okay, why didn't I train this day? Why didn't I freestyle this day? Why didn't I work out this day? And then you can look at like, oh, what were the factors affecting that day? Like there's so much you can do just by habit tracking, right?
Yeah.
Like changed my life. I came out of the lockdown shredded, bro. And people looked at me because they could see it on my face. And they're like, they came to me and they're like, what happened to you and how did you do it? Right. And like,
It's
I
those
was like,
little
I did a
habits.
lot of
Yeah.
walking, walking is my main form of cardio. If you're trying to cardio, walking, or running is like an actual form of exercise,
Yeah.
like I would say like, if you're trying to run, like do it like a few times a week intensely, treat it like a workout. But like walking after meals, is the best way to go about it. And then your habit tracker, like
course.
find your few things, main general things, your 4, 3, 5 things. Check it off. If you didn't, it's fine. This is a no stress just for you kind of thing, right? But it's so important. You can actively look back at it, but you end up being more consistent without you even realizing it. And that just makes you better. Like you just need to be consistent.
Yeah.
Like you fear it often, but you just need to be consistent.
Dope. Good advice, man. Again, thank you for coming on
Yo,
here.
thanks so much
We'll
for
ask
having
you
me,
to come
man.
back
Yeah.
on your next big project, which will be very soon.
Yeah, I
know.
love talking clearly.
All right, man. No, good stories too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
loved hearing your rise and keep moving forward, man.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to more from Bass and Reels, man.
Of course,
Yeah,
man. We
yeah,
got some
you
stuff
guys
in
are
the
the
works.
best. Yeah,
We
thanks
can't
for
share
having
it
me.
yet, but we got some
the
stuff
fact
in
that
the
I got
works.
to like be in the same frame as you guys, I can't believe you even talking about that. I was
Yo.
like, I was so happy that happened, man. So
Oh, yeah,
like,
in the video, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to more of hopefully that happening too.
Yo, definitely
and,
want to collab
yeah.
more. I want to get back into dancing. People don't know that I used to dance for a dance team, bro.
Years ago we did try to make that happen. Right? Bass and Reels, like dance, like we did collab.
Ooh.
Let's make that happen.
We'll
yo.
make that
Let's-
happen,
let's make
guys.
that happen,
That's gonna
yeah.
happen. I'm gonna dance again.
Yeah, man.
Yes, let's go.
All right, thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it, man. Take care. Follow this podcast, Punch Dialogue, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you, guys.